Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we are stepping into the vibrant, watchful, and wonderful world of chameleons. These strange lizards seem almost imaginary. Their eyes can move in different directions, their skin can morph into a myriad of colors, and their tongues can move faster than the blink of an eye. These amazing creatures are the perfect example of how extraordinary our world can be. In forests and deserts, in mountain air and island heat. But for now, all you need to do is settle in. Let your body soften and allow your breathing to slow. And as the day begins to gently fade away, join me as we explore these remarkable creatures together. Let's begin. Shaped for grasping branches as if the trees themselves invited them to stay. This is a story of evolution at its most inventive, of survival through patience, perception, and perfect timing. A world where color speaks, where stillness hides explosive speed, and where even the smallest movement can mean everything. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is settle in. Let your body soften and allow your breathing to slow. And as the day begins to gently fade away, join me as we explore these remarkable creatures together. Let's begin. Chameleons change color mainly for communication, not just camouflage. In the wild, a color shift is often more like a sentence than a disguise. When another chameleon appears, the skin can brighten or darken to announce confidence, caution, irritation, or surrender. A male defending a perch may flash bold contrasts to look unmissable, even when that seems risky. A female can show that she is receptive, or that she is not interested at all. These changes are controlled by nerves and hormones, so they can rise quickly with emotion and then settle again. Camouflage still matters, especially for staying unnoticed by predators. Yet the most dramatic changes often happen when the audience is another chameleon. It is a private language written across the body, visible from a distance and understood in an instant. Each eye can move separately, scanning two directions at once. A chameleon can sit perfectly still while its gaze seems to wander like two curious creatures sharing one head. One eye may watch for danger, while the other searches for motion that could be a meal. This independence matters because a chameleon often lives in exposed places on branches where it cannot rely on speed. The eyes act like wide-angle surveillance, sweeping the scene without the body giving anything away. Then, when something interesting appears, the eyes can transition from roaming to precision. They begin to coordinate, narrowing attention until both are aimed at the same point. That shift is subtle, but it is the moment the animal moves from observing to deciding. For a hunter that prefers patience, it is a powerful way to control a whole panorama while spending almost no energy. Their tongues can launch farther than their own body length. What looks like a slow lizard is hiding a distance weapon. When prey wanders into range, the tongue can shoot outward so far that the strike begins from what seems like impossible safety. This lets a chameleon remain anchored to a branch while reaching across open air, where a step forward might reveal it. The launch is not simply muscle pushing forward. The tongue is loaded like a spring, storing energy and then releasing it in a burst. That design means the strike can be fast even when the body is cool and the chameleon is conserving heat. The payoff is precision at a distance. A small insect can be taken without a chase, without a leap, and often without the prey understanding what happened. The whole hunt can remain almost silent, like a magic trick performed in daylight. A chameleon's tongue tip acts like a suction cup. At the end of the tongue is a specialized pad that can grip prey the moment it makes contact. It helps the strike succeed even if the target is smooth, spiky, or trying to twist away. The tongue does not need to spear or bite at full extension. Instead, it needs a reliable hold for the snapback. Sticky mucus adds adhesion, but the shape and tissue of the tip also matter. It can form a tight seal against an insect's body, creating a firm attachment during the split second of capture. That means the chameleon can grab prey that is wider than the tongue itself. Then the tongue retracts, and the prey is delivered directly to the mouth. The whole system is built for one job, which is to turn a brief touch into a secure grip. It is a tiny design that changes the odds of every hunt. Many chameleons see ultraviolet light that humans cannot see. To a chameleon, the world can carry extra signals that are hidden from us. Ultraviolet light reflects from leaves, flowers, and even animal skin in ways that create patterns we never notice. This can improve contrast, making a moving insect stand out against vegetation. It may also add a private layer to social life. Some colors that look ordinary to us can glow with ultraviolet highlights, changing how bold or subtle another chameleon appears at close range. That means two animals could be reacting to details that a human observer would completely miss. Ultraviolet perception can also help with orientation, since sunlight contains ultraviolet and shifts with time of day. In a habitat where survival depends on spotting movement and reading rivals, any added channel of information is valuable. It is a reminder that seeing is not just about sharpness. It is about what kinds of light your brain is built to interpret. Most species have grasping feet built like natural tongs. A chameleon's foot does not behave like a typical lizard foot. The toes are arranged in opposing groups that clamp around a branch, creating a secure pinch from both sides. This is why they can move with such confidence across narrow twigs that would betray a heavier animal. The grip also frees the body to sway and reposition without losing balance. It is a design that favors stability over sprinting. When the branch bends in wind, the foot can hold on without constant adjustment. That matters because a chameleon often hunts from a fixed spot, waiting for the right moment. It also matters during climbs, where a slip could mean injury or an easy meal for a predator. The feet give the animal a quiet kind of strength. They make the tree feel less like a surface and more like a set of handholds arranged for a careful climber. Many chameleons have prehensile tails that work like extra hands. The tail is not just a counterweight. It can curl, tighten, and hold, turning into a living anchor point. When a chameleon stretches toward the end of a branch, the tail can wrap around the base like a safety line. That allows the animal to reach farther with its body while reducing the risk of falling. It also helps during slow climbs, where shifting one foot at a time could otherwise feel precarious. In dense vegetation, the tail can brace against neighboring stems, creating a stable triangle of support. This matters for hunting too, because a steady platform improves aim. The tongue strike depends on accuracy, and accuracy depends on not wobbling at the wrong moment. Over evolutionary time, the tail became a tool for three-dimensional life. It is part limb, part harness, and part balance beam. In a world of thin branches, it is a quiet advantage that keeps the hunter in control. Some chameleons can rotate their eyes nearly all around. The range of motion is so wide that it can look as if the eyes are on swivels. This helps a chameleon monitor what is behind it without turning its head, which would be an obvious movement in the canopy. Predators often rely on noticing motion. By keeping the body still, the chameleon reduces the chance of being detected. Wide rotation also means the animal can keep watch while navigating. It can look ahead for the next branch while still scanning below for danger. in a habitat full of birds, snakes, and larger lizards that matters every minute. The eyes become a moving perimeter. They also allow a chameleon to gather information from multiple directions, which can be important when rivals are nearby. It is a reminder that stealth is not only about blending in. It is also about how you collect information without advertising that you are paying attention. Color patterns can signal fear, dominance, or readiness to mate. In chameleon society, color can function like posture, tone, and facial expression all at once. A bold, high-contrast display can claim space, daring another animal to challenge it. A darker, subdued pattern can communicate stress or a desire to avoid conflict. During courtship, colors can become more striking, and the changes can happen in quick bursts that read like emphasis. Females can also send clear signals about whether mating is welcome, which helps prevent injury and wasted effort. These messages do not need sound, and they do not require close contact. They travel across a branch in plain view. That is useful in a life where encounters can be tense and where physical fights are risky. The important part is consistency. Other chameleons learn what the patterns mean, and they respond accordingly. It is communication shaped by natural selection, and it turns the body into a readable display board. Their skin contains multiple layers of light-shifting nanocrystals. Some of the most famous color changes are created less by pigments and more by physics. Inside the skin are specialized cells that contain tiny crystal-like structures arranged in patterns. When the spacing between them changes, the skin reflects different wavelengths of light. That can shift the appearance from one color to another without needing to manufacture new dyes. It is similar in concept to how soap bubbles and oil films can shimmer, though the biological method is more controlled and far more durable. The layered arrangement also allows complex effects like bright colors on top of deeper tones. This is one reason a chameleon can produce colors that look unusually clean and vivid. The mechanism connects to the animal's state, so changes can occur with excitement, stress, or temperature. It is engineering at microscopic scale, built into living tissue, turning light itself into a flexible signal. Chameleons belong to a lizard family called Chameleonidae. That family name is like a passport stamp that tells you what kind of lizard you are dealing with. Not a gecko that sprints across walls. Not an iguana that powers through leaves. This group is built around patience, precision, and life in complex vegetation. Over time, many branches of the family diversified into very different lifestyles, from canopy hunters to leaf litter specialists. Yet they still share a recognizable toolkit that sets them apart from other lizards. Their bodies lean toward gripping and aiming rather than chasing. Their heads and jaws are shaped for careful feeding rather than tearing. Even their movement style is tuned for caution, because a sudden dash can give away position. When you hear Chameleonidae, you are hearing the story of a lineage that chose accuracy over speed and turned that choice into a worldwide marvel. Madagascar holds more chameleon species than any other place. There is a reason naturalists speak about Madagascar with awe. The island has been separated from other land masses for a very long time, which gave evolution room to experiment in isolation. Forests there can change dramatically over short distances, so populations become separated by ridges, rivers, and climate shifts. When that happens, small differences can build across generations until entirely new species emerge. Chameleons were especially suited to this because many live in small home ranges and do not travel far. Over time, the island became a workshop filled with unique designs, from tiny ground dwellers to larger tree specialists. It is also a place where scientific discovery still feels possible, even now. Researchers continue to document new species and new local forms, sometimes from a single patch of habitat. Madagascar is not just a hotspot. It is a living archive of evolutionary creativity. Many species live only on a single island or valley. Some chameleons have a world that is smaller than a human commute. A valley can hold the right mix of plants, humidity, and temperature, while the next valley over is wrong in just enough ways to make survival difficult. Over time, those boundaries become real. Populations adapt to local conditions, and soon they are distinct from their neighbors. This is why a map of chameleon diversity can look like a patchwork quilt with rare species stitched into very specific places. That extreme localism makes them fascinating because it shows how quickly nature can tailor an animal to a particular setting. It also makes them fragile. When a forest patch is cleared, there may be nowhere else that species can go. In some cases, protecting a single hillside or a single valley is the difference between survival and disappearance. It is biodiversity with an address. Some chameleons thrive in deserts by managing water carefully. A desert chameleon faces a problem that is easy to overlook. In dry air, water can vanish from the body long before hunger becomes urgent. To cope, desert-adapted species often time their activity to avoid the hottest, driest hours, and they use shade with discipline. Their skin and behavior reduce water loss, and they take advantage of rare moisture whenever it appears. Fog, dew, and brief showers can become lifelines. In some coastal deserts, morning mist can coat plants with tiny droplets, and a patient lizard can harvest that moisture with steady, repeated licks. Food choices also matter, because some prey contains more water than others. Even posture matters, since exposure to wind and sun can change evaporation. Desert living is not about toughness alone. It is about careful budgeting, and desert chameleons can feel like experts in quiet survival. They show that life can persist where the landscape seems empty. Others live in cool mountains and warm themselves by basking. Mountain habitats can be bright and beautiful, and they can also be unforgiving. Nights are colder, mornings start slow, and a small reptile cannot generate its own heat like a bird or mammal. So the sun becomes a daily appointment. A mountain chameleon will often choose an exposed perch early in the day, turning its body to catch sunlight like a living solar panel. As it warms, its muscles respond faster, its digestion improves, and its alertness rises. The timing matters because a late start can mean missed feeding opportunities. The choice of perch matters too, because it must offer light, but also safety. One wrong basking spot can make an animal visible to predators. This is why the routine can look deliberate, almost ritual-like. The chameleon is not sunbathing for comfort. It is charging a biological battery, then carrying that energy back into shaded foliage where life continues. Chameleons are ectotherms, so temperature controls their energy levels. For an ectotherm, warmth is not just a feeling. Warmth is performance. When the environment is cool, reactions slow down, movement becomes heavier, and the body tries to conserve. When the temperature rises into a comfortable range, everything changes. Muscles respond with more precision, and the animal can navigate branches with greater confidence. Digestion becomes more efficient too, which matters when meals arrive in bursts rather than steady portions. This is why chameleons spend time choosing microclimates. A few centimeters can separate sun from shade, and that difference can decide how active an animal can be. It also means a sudden cold snap or an unseasonal heat wave can have immediate consequences. The chameleon does not simply endure the weather. It negotiates with it, hour by hour. In that negotiation, temperature becomes a quiet puppeteer, pulling the strings of appetite, movement, and even social behavior. Many species move with a slow, rocking walk to stay unnoticed. When a branch sways in the breeze, everything on it moves. A chameleon can take advantage of that, blending its steps into the rhythm of the vegetation. The slow rocking walk is not laziness. It is strategy. By shifting weight carefully and pausing between steps, the animal reduces sudden changes that would catch a predator's eye. The motion can resemble a leaf moving in wind, which makes it harder to pick out as a living target. This style also helps with balance. Branches can be narrow and unpredictable, and a fast stride could mean a slip. The rocking adds stability, like a climber testing a foothold before committing. There is also a hunting benefit. Prey often reacts to abrupt movement, but it may ignore slow background sway. So the chameleon becomes part of the landscape's motion, arriving closer without triggering alarm. It is camouflage expressed through timing rather than color. Their hands and feet split into two opposing gripping groups. This toe arrangement is called zygodactyl, and it turns each foot into a powerful clamp. Instead of toes spreading out like a star, they form two bundles that press from opposite sides of a branch. That means the grip stays secure even when the surface is uneven, wet, or angled. It also means the animal can hold position for a long time without constant slipping. When a chameleon climbs, it often moves one limb at a time, testing the next hold before shifting its weight. The split-toe design makes that cautious style possible. It is also useful on the thinnest twigs, where a flat foot would struggle to find contact. You can see a similar concept in parrots, which also use opposed toes for climbing. In chameleons, the same idea supports a life spent above ground, where falling is costly and steadiness is everything. A chameleon's tail can coil tightly for balance and stability. Think of the tail as a living counterbalance that can become an anchor whenever the animal needs it. On a narrow branch, shifting weight forward can be risky. A tightly coiled tail can offset that shift and keep the center of mass where it needs to be. During careful climbs, the tail may tighten and loosen like a hand adjusting grip on a railing. In wind, it can add stability by holding a second point of contact, which reduces wobble. That steadiness matters during moments that require precision, like stepping onto a new twig or reaching into open space. It matters during rest, too. Many chameleons choose sleeping spots where a secure hold is essential, and a coiled tail can provide that extra insurance. The tail is not just decoration, and it is not just leftover length. It is part of a three-dimensional safety system, tuned to life among branches, where balance decides everything. Many species have bony head crests called casques. A casque can give a chameleon a profile that looks almost mythical, like a helmet grown from bone. In some species it rises prominently, changing the shape of the head and altering how the animal appears from a distance. That visual impact can matter in social encounters, where size and presence influence outcomes without a fight. The structure also provides extra surface area, and it can play roles that are still being explored by researchers. In dry conditions, even small advantages in managing heat and moisture can matter, and the shape of the head can influence both. The casque also changes how the jaw muscles attach and how the head handles strain, which can be important for feeding and display behavior. What makes it especially fascinating is how varied it is across species. Some are subtle, some are dramatic, and some look like they belong in a fantasy story. Yet they are real solutions built by evolution, one lineage at a time. Casques can help channel rainwater toward the mouth. In habitats where water arrives in brief bursts, every drop matters. A raised head structure can act like a natural catchment, guiding moisture along grooves and toward the lips. When rain hits leaves and runs in rivulets, the chameleon may not need to climb down to find a puddle. It can collect water where it stands. In cloud forests, Mist can condense on surfaces, and even that thin film can become drinkable if it is directed efficiently. The behavior that often goes with this is patient and methodical. The animal positions itself to take advantage of falling water, then uses small mouth movements to gather it. This is not the same as drinking from a stream. It is closer to harvesting weather. The idea that a skull shape can support hydration is startling, because it links anatomy directly to the rhythm of rain. It is a reminder that survival can depend on tiny design choices that shape how an animal meets the environment. Some casques amplify size during displays and territorial disputes. In a tense encounter, a chameleon wants to win without paying the cost of a fight. A prominent head crest helps with that. It makes the animal look taller and more imposing, especially when paired with posture changes and deliberate positioning on a branch. When two rivals face off, they may angle their bodies, raise themselves, and present their strongest profile. The casque becomes part of that silhouette, adding height where height can matter. This can influence decisions before any physical contact occurs. It is not about intimidation alone. It is also about clarity. A large visual feature is easy for another chameleon to read, even at a distance through foliage. In that way, the casque can reduce confusion and shorten confrontations. One animal declares, the other evaluates, and the conflict may end with a retreat instead of injuries. Over generations, features that help settle disputes quickly can be favored, because they keep individuals alive to breed again. It is social drama written in bone. Chameleons can flatten their bodies to look larger to rivals. When threatened or challenged, a chameleon can change its outline in an instant. By flattening the torso from side to side, it presents a broader surface, which can make it seem harder to overpower. This is a common trick in the animal world, but in chameleons, it is especially striking because it transforms a narrow branch sitter into a wide shield shape. The posture is often paired with stillness, as if the animal is daring the opponent to move first. It can also change how the animal interacts with light, making its body more visible. That visibility is intentional because the goal is not hiding. The goal is persuasion. A rival may decide the contest is not worth it. A predator may hesitate, uncertain about what it is seeing. The body flattening is a reminder that shape is communication. Without making a sound, the chameleon can project a message that says, "I am not an easy target." They can also puff air into their lungs for a bigger shape. Inflating the body is like adding a second layer to the bluff. Air fills the lungs, the ribs expand, and the animal takes up more space on the branch. This can make the chameleon harder to swallow for predators that rely on a quick grab. It can also strengthen a warning display, making the animal look more robust and less vulnerable. The action is often accompanied by a tense posture and a focused stare, which turns the whole body into a single statement. There is a practical side too. Lungs are not only for breathing. They also influence buoyancy in the body, which can affect balance and stability. A controlled breath can stiffen the torso and help the animal hold a posture without shaking. In confrontations, that steadiness can matter as much as size. The fascinating part is how quickly the change happens. A creature that seemed flat and quiet can become expanded and bold in a moment, all through breath and body control. Many species hiss loudly when threatened. A hiss is an alarm that needs no translation. It can startle a predator that expected a silent meal, and it can signal to another animal that this chameleon is ready to defend itself. The sound is made by forcing air through the mouth and throat in a controlled way, producing a sharp, sustained warning. What makes it effective is the contrast. Chameleons are often still and quiet, so a sudden hiss feels dramatic, like a branch that unexpectedly speaks. In dense vegetation, Sound carries around leaves, which means a predator may hear it even before it sees the animal clearly. That hesitation can create an opening for escape, or at least prevent a careless strike. The hiss also works as a boundary marker. When another chameleon approaches too closely, the warning can end the encounter quickly. It is a reminder that these animals are not passive ornaments. They have tools for defense that are simple, direct, and surprisingly bold. Some species can bite hard enough to draw blood. The bite is not their first option, but it is a real one. A chameleon that cannot escape may turn and clamp down with determination. The jaws may look small, yet they can deliver a firm grip that is meant to make a predator let go. That includes human fingers, which is why experienced handlers respect their space. The bite works best when paired with other defenses, like posture and sound, because it discourages repeated attacks. In nature, a predator learns quickly that this prey comes with consequences. There is also a social context. While most chameleons avoid physical combat, a bite can occur when boundaries are pushed too far. It is part of a broader toolkit that says, I would rather not fight, but I can. What makes this so fascinating is the mismatch between appearance and capability. The animal looks slow and delicate. Then it shows a sharp edge that most people never expect. That surprise is part of what keeps it alive. Their teeth are small but sharp for gripping prey. Chameleon teeth are not designed for chewing like ours. They are designed for holding. When an insect is pulled into the mouth, it may still be kicking, twisting, and trying to escape. Small, pointed teeth help secure that struggling prey so it can be swallowed safely. The teeth also help manage spiny insects that could otherwise slip free or injure the mouth. Because chameleons often feed on creatures with hard exoskeletons, the jaws and teeth must work together efficiently, applying pressure in the right places. The bite does not need to slice. It needs to trap. This also connects to how chameleons feed. Many of their meals are taken one at a time, and each one must be controlled quickly before it can escape or cause harm. The teeth are like the final lock in a capture sequence that began with sight, continued with a lightning strike, and ends with a secure hold. It is a quiet detail, but it finishes the hunt. Most chameleons hunt by sight, not by smell. For these animals, vision is the main doorway to the world of food. A chameleon often chooses a vantage point, then watches with intense patience for the twitch of a leg or the drift of a wing. Smell can play roles in many reptiles, but here it is not the primary guide for hunting. This shapes the whole lifestyle. The animal becomes a watcher rather than a tracker, and it favors places where it can see without being seen. It also means motion is unusually important. Many insects blend into leaves when they are still, but they reveal themselves as soon as they move. A chameleon can exploit that. It can wait until movement gives away position, then prepare a strike that ends the chase before it begins. Hunting by sight also affects feeding choices. Prey that is active in daylight becomes more relevant, and the chameleon's schedule tends to match that. It is the strategy of a patient observer, tuned to the language of movement. They track prey with depth perception from both eyes. Depth perception is what turns a glance into a measured decision. When a chameleon has both eyes engaged, it can estimate distance in 3 dimensions, which is essential for an accurate strike. A branch is not a flat stage. It is a layered maze of near and far surfaces, and a mistake of a few centimeters can mean missing a meal. Depth perception also helps with movement through the canopy. Judging how far the next perch lies reduces falls and wasted effort. The process is not conscious in the way we think of it, but it is precise. Visual cues like overlap, focus, and relative motion provide a built-in rangefinder. This is especially impressive because the chameleon often stays still while making these judgments. Many animals rely on moving their head to gauge distance. A chameleon can do much of it without obvious motion, which keeps it hidden. It is a rare blend of stealth and geometry, performed in silence among leaves. When striking, both eyes lock onto one target together. There is a moment before the launch when the animal's attention becomes unmistakable. The wandering gaze stops. Both eyes converge on the same point, and the chameleon seems to hold its breath. That coordination is important because the strike is fast and committing. Once the tongue fires, there is no time for mid-course correction. So the brain unifies the two streams of visual information into one decision, choosing a target and setting the trajectory. If several insects are moving, the choice must be made cleanly. The animal cannot afford confusion. This is why the lock-on feels like a switch being flipped from scanning to action. It also reveals something about chameleons that is easy to miss. They are not only reactive, they are deliberate. They can watch, evaluate, and then commit to a single plan with startling confidence. For a creature that moves slowly most of the day, this brief moment of focus is electrifying. It is the calm before a perfect snap. A chameleon can measure distance before it fires the tongue. It is not guessing, and it is not hoping. Before the strike, the animal gathers depth cues and builds a mental map of how far away the prey really is. A twig that looks close can be farther than it seems, because everything is layered in branches and leaves. The chameleon solves that problem with careful visual assessment. Then it commits. That commitment is important because the tongue launch happens too quickly for correction mid-flight. If the distance is wrong, the prey is gone, and the chameleon has revealed itself. So the pause before the strike is part of the hunt, like a silent calculation. You can almost feel the moment when the decision locks in. The eyes stop roaming, the head steadies, and the body becomes a tripod of patience. Then the tongue moves, and the distance turns into contact. The tongue's power comes from elastic energy stored in collagen. The secret is not brute strength. The tongue system works more like a catapult, where energy is loaded slowly and released in a burst. Collagen structures can be stretched and held, storing potential energy without constant muscular effort. That matters for an animal that often sits still, conserving energy while it waits for prey. When the moment arrives, the stored energy is released rapidly, and the tongue accelerates far beyond what muscle alone could manage. It is a clever workaround for the limits of flesh. It also helps explain why the strike can remain impressive, even when conditions are not perfect. The mechanism is built for reliability, because a missed meal can mean a long wait for another chance. This is engineering in living tissue, where a material you might associate with skin and tendons becomes a spring-loaded launcher. Sticky saliva helps hold insects during the snapback. Catching prey is only half the challenge. The tongue hits, then it must return with the insect still attached. Saliva plays a starring role here, creating adhesion in the instant of contact. For a small insect, that stickiness can be the difference between capture and escape. It also helps with awkward shapes, like beetles with hard shells or insects with spines that might otherwise slip. The tongue does not linger. It strikes and retracts quickly, so the glue has to work immediately. This is why the capture can feel so magical to watch, like the prey has been briefly touched by a fast-moving ribbon and then removed from the air. The saliva is not a messy detail. It is part of the precision. It turns a fraction of a second into a secure hold, and it keeps the whole feeding system dependable. Many species prefer insects, but some also eat small vertebrates. For many chameleons, insects are the everyday menu, and it makes sense. Insects are abundant, and they fit the tongue-based hunting style. Yet some larger species are opportunists with a wider appetite. If a tiny lizard or a small frog wanders close enough, it can become a meal. This shift in diet is not about cruelty. It is about energy. Vertebrates can offer more calories and more nutrients per capture, which matters when opportunities are rare. It can also happen during certain seasons, when insect numbers change and the forest offers different options. What is fascinating is the flexibility. These animals are often described as specialist hunters, and in many ways they are. Yet the larger ones can still show a practical streak, taking what the environment provides. It is a reminder that nature rewards the ability to adapt, even in creatures built for a very particular kind of hunting. Larger chameleons may take young birds when available. This is one of the most surprising details about their lives. A chameleon perched near a nest or a low branch can sometimes encounter a vulnerable chick, and a big individual may seize that chance. It does not happen every day, and it is not the main diet. Still, it reveals something important about scale. When a chameleon grows large enough, the world of possible prey changes. It is no longer only about insects crawling on leaves. It becomes about any small animal that can be safely subdued. For the chameleon, the advantage is obvious. A single high-energy meal can support the body through long stretches of waiting. The risk is obvious too, because birds bring watchful parents and dangerous attention. That tension makes the behavior memorable. It shows that even a creature famous for slow-motion patience can step into a different role when the opportunity is right and the stakes are high. Some species will eat fruit or leaves as a supplement. It sounds strange at first, because we picture them as pure insect hunters. Yet in some species, plant material can appear in the diet, especially as a supplement. It may provide extra moisture in dry periods, or additional minerals that help the body stay balanced. Sometimes it is a bite of soft fruit, sometimes it is tender leaf matter. The key is that it is not the main plan. It is a side strategy that can smooth out the rough edges of survival. In a wild habitat, perfect meals do not arrive on schedule. A chameleon that can take advantage of what is available has an extra tool for getting through lean times. It also changes how you imagine their behavior. They are not only waiting for moving prey, they are also tasting the landscape in small, occasional ways. That flexibility makes them feel more like careful managers of their environment rather than single-minded predators. Chameleons drink by licking dew and raindrops from leaves. Instead of lowering their heads to a pool, many chameleons take water where it naturally gathers. After a cool night, dew can bead on leaves like tiny glass marbles. After a shower, droplets hang from stems and leaf tips, trembling with every breeze. A chameleon can move through its world and drink one drop at a time, using its tongue as a careful collector. This fits a life in vegetation, where standing water might be far below, and where descending could invite danger. It also means their hydration depends on weather rhythms. Morning moisture can matter as much as afternoon hunting. The act itself can look delicate, but it is practical. Each lick is a small decision that keeps the body functioning. For listeners, it is a beautiful reminder that some animals do not drink from rivers. They drink from the air's leftovers, gathered by plants, then offered back in shining droplets. Some will also drink from dripping or misted water. When water falls in slow drops, it creates a kind of moving target that chameleons can learn to use. In the wild, that drip might come from a leaf funneling rain, or from condensation sliding down a branch. In captivity, keepers often mimic that natural pattern, because many chameleons respond better to droplets than to still bowls. The reason is partly behavioral. Their instincts are tuned to recognize glinting movement and fresh moisture on surfaces. A drip is visible, and it suggests clean water rather than stagnant water. It also lets the chameleon stay where it feels secure, high in the enclosure or deep in foliage, while hydration comes to it. This preference tells you something about their entire lifestyle. They are not ground drinkers by design. They are canopy drinkers. Water that moves and sparkles is part of their normal world, and they are built to notice it and make use of it. Their eyes have cone-shaped lids with a tiny viewing hole. The eyelids are so complete that the eye often looks sealed, except for a small opening like a camera aperture. That design protects the eye while still allowing precise vision. In a life spent among branches, eyes face dust, plant debris, and the spines and legs of struggling insects. A mostly covered eye reduces damage, while the eyeball inside continues to swivel and scan. The tiny hole also limits stray light, which can sharpen focus and help with targeting. It is an elegant solution, and it makes the chameleon's gaze look almost otherworldly. You are not seeing a wide, exposed eye. You are seeing a moving viewpoint inside a protective shell. That can also help the animal stay less readable to others. A predator might track eye direction in many animals. With chameleons, it is harder. The lids hide the details, while the eyeball still does its quiet work, searching, assessing, and choosing. That eyelid design protects the eye while still allowing focus. Protection is not helpful if it blurs the world. The remarkable part is that the chameleon keeps sharp aim even with the eye largely enclosed. The lid acts like armor, reducing scratches and dryness, while the opening remains aligned with the line of sight. Inside, muscles move the eyeball smoothly, so the view can shift without the lid needing to open wide. This matters during hunting, because the prey might be surrounded by sharp leaves and rough bark. It matters during climbing, because a misplaced twig can scrape the face. The chameleon's eye is too valuable to risk, since vision guides almost everything it does. So evolution built a compromise that looks extreme, but works beautifully. When you watch a chameleon track something, the lid hardly changes, yet the aim is precise. It is a reminder that nature often solves problems with designs that seem odd until you understand the pressure behind them. Here, the pressure is simple. Protect the sensor, keep the signal clear. Chameleons have excellent motion detection for spotting moving prey. A still insect can vanish into a leaf, even in bright daylight. Movement is what betrays it. Chameleons are tuned to pick up that flicker, the tiny shift of a leg, the slight drift of a wing. This sensitivity fits their hunting style because they do not chase. They wait. When they notice movement, they can begin tracking without shifting the body much, which keeps them hidden. Motion detection also helps them avoid danger. A bird passing overhead, a snake climbing nearby, a sudden rustle in foliage. These are warnings that demand attention. For an animal that often relies on remaining undetected, noticing motion early is a form of armor. It gives time to freeze, to reposition, or to retreat along the branch network. It also adds drama to the hunt. The chameleon is not randomly scanning. It is watching for the one thing the prey cannot fully control. Sooner or later, something moves. That is when the story begins. They can be surprisingly fast for a short burst. Most of the time, they look unhurried. That is part of their strategy. Stillness keeps them safe, and it keeps prey calm. Yet when they truly need to move, they can deliver a sudden burst that feels almost shocking. It might happen when a predator appears, when a branch gives way, or when the animal must cross an exposed gap quickly. The speed is not built for long-distance running. It is built for emergencies. A few rapid steps can carry them behind a leaf screen, or onto a thicker branch, or away from an immediate threat. That burst is often paired with decisive gripping, because the goal is not to sprint. The goal is to change position before danger can adjust. This contrast makes them fascinating. They live as slow watchers, but they keep a hidden gear in reserve. It reminds you that slowness is a choice, not a limitation. When the situation changes, the chameleon can change with it. Most species are solitary and avoid others outside breeding. A chameleon's life often revolves around a personal space it knows well. Food, basking sites, and safe sleeping branches are limited resources, so sharing can create conflict. Solitude reduces that conflict. It also reduces visibility because groups are easier for predators to notice. When another chameleon appears, the meeting can be tense and brief. One may retreat, or a display may settle the question of who stays. Outside breeding season, there is little reason to linger together. Even during breeding, contact is often purposeful rather than social. This solitary style shapes how you should picture them. They are not gathering creatures. They are individual specialists, each navigating its own small territory like a quiet planet. That can make them seem mysterious to us because we are drawn to animals that form obvious groups. With chameleons, the drama is more private. It happens in short encounters on narrow branches, where a few signals decide everything. Males often defend territories with vivid color displays. A territory is not a fence, and it is not a map. It is a set of valuable spots, a favored perch, a good hunting lane, a warm basking branch, and perhaps access to females during the right season. When another male enters that space, a fight is risky, because injuries can be fatal in a world full of predators. So the first line of defense is display. A male may brighten, darken, or sharpen patterns in ways that make him look confident and formidable. He may hold a tall posture and angle his body to be seen clearly. The goal is decision without contact. If the intruder believes the resident is stronger, he may leave. If the resident looks weak, he may be challenged. These exchanges can be intense, yet they often end without a bite. It is conflict managed through visibility. The colors are not decoration. They are a negotiation tool, saving energy and saving lives, while still protecting the resources that matter. Females can reject mates with clear warning colors. Courtship is not always welcome, and females have ways to make that unmistakable. By shifting into warning patterns, a female can signal that she is not receptive, and that a persistent male may face consequences. This matters because repeated harassment would waste energy and raise risk. A female needs to feed to avoid predators, and in many species to support the heavy cost of producing eggs or young. A clear visual rejection saves time. It also reduces the chance of injury. Instead of escalating to a physical struggle, the message can end the approach early. The most interesting part is the clarity. The signal is not subtle. It is designed to be read quickly, even through foliage and distance. In a species where color is language, refusal can be as bold as attraction. That gives the female control over her own timing, and it shapes the entire breeding system. It is not just mating behavior. It is communication that protects health. Some species show pregnancy colors that discourage male attention. When a female is carrying developing eggs or young, her priorities change. She needs stability, food, and reduced stress. In some species, her coloration can shift into a pattern that functions like a stop sign to males. It can say, "Do not waste your energy, and do not waste mine." This is useful because a male might otherwise continue courting, and courtship can be disruptive. It can pull a female away from good feeding sites or force her to display and defend herself. Pregnancy colors reduce that pressure. They also make the social environment more predictable because nearby males learn to recognize the signal. That recognition can prevent repeated confrontations and conserve energy for everyone involved. There is also a physiological story behind it. Hormone changes that support reproduction can also influence skin coloration, linking internal state to outward communication. That connection is powerful. It means the body broadcasts the truth of what is happening inside, which helps the animal navigate a complex social landscape during a vulnerable time. Many chameleons communicate without sound through rapid color changes. Silence can be an advantage in the trees. Sound carries, and sound can invite predators. Color, on the other hand, can be aimed at whoever is looking, and it can change quickly. A chameleon can send a message across a branch without making the forest aware. Rapid shifts can act like punctuation. A sudden darkening can warn, a brightening can challenge, and a patterned flare can escalate the conversation. Because the changes are visible, they can reduce the need for physical contact. That keeps bodies safer. It also keeps energy use lower, since a display can end a conflict before it becomes a chase. The speed of change matters because situations change fast. A rival approaches, a mate appears, a threat passes by. The chameleon can update its appearance to match the moment. This is not just color for beauty. It is color as behavior. It is a living billboard that can rewrite itself in seconds. Some also use head bobs and body sways as signals. Color is only part of the language. Movement can add meaning, especially in low light or complex vegetation where patterns are partly hidden. A head bob can be a clear statement of attention, confidence, or warning. A controlled body sway can show intent without closing distance. These gestures are useful because they are directional. You bob toward a rival, and the rival knows the message is meant for him. Movements can also help avoid misunderstandings. If two animals share similar colors in a moment, posture and motion can clarify who is claiming space and who is yielding. The fascinating part is how stylized it can look, almost like choreography. The motions are not random fidgeting. They are repeated, readable actions that have been shaped over generations. In a quiet forest, that visual conversation becomes a social network without sound. It is a world where a slight tilt of the head can change what happens next, and where stillness can be broken by a gesture that speaks louder than any call. Horns evolved in several species, often in males. Horns in chameleons can look like tiny spears, blunt knobs, or curved projections that reshape the face. They did not appear once. They evolved in multiple lineages, which suggests they solved similar problems in different places. Often they are most developed in males, which hints at sexual selection and rivalry. A horn can make a male look larger or more intimidating, and it can provide a physical point of contact in shoving contests. These contests can happen on branches, where pushing and balance become part of the struggle. The horn also changes the profile, making the animal more recognizable during displays. In a crowded habitat, distinct shapes can help individuals assess each other quickly. What is especially intriguing is how horns can be both weapon and signal. Even when they are not used in combat, they can still influence decisions before contact happens. Over time, a structure that helps win contests can become exaggerated, because winning contests leads to more breeding opportunities. The horn becomes a story about how appearance can shape destiny. The Jackson's chameleon is famous for its 3 horns. 3 horns give it a silhouette that is instantly memorable, like a miniature triceratops built for branches. The horns are most prominent in males, and they can play roles in both display and physical contests. When 2 males meet, they may posture, circle, and sometimes push, using those horns as points of leverage. The scene can look like a careful duel rather than a chaotic fight, because balance matters as much as force. Beyond rivalry, the horns also make the animal easier to identify in dense habitats, which can influence social interactions at a distance. There is a deeper fascination too. This species has been introduced to places outside its native range, and in some areas it has established wild populations. That raises questions about how a specialized tree dweller can adapt to new climates and new ecosystems. It also reminds us that humans change animal stories, sometimes dramatically, by moving species across the world. The Jackson's chameleon carries an ancient-looking face into very modern ecological conversations. The veiled chameleon has a tall casque and bold patterning. Its silhouette is unmistakable because the head rises into a high crest that looks almost architectural. That casque changes how the animal reads in the trees. It can make the body seem taller during displays, and it helps create a strong profile that rivals notice quickly. In Yemen and Saudi Arabia, where this species is native, vegetation can be patchy, and conditions can shift between wet and dry seasons. That reality shaped a chameleon that can do well with tough swings in environment when it has the right heat, light, and hydration. In captivity, people often meet this species first, which is why it has become one of the best known. The surprise is how quickly it can go from calm stillness to sharp attitude. When it decides it wants space, the posture becomes commanding, and the patterns can look like a warning sign painted on living skin. Panther chameleons show striking regional color forms in Madagascar. Travel across Madagascar, and this single species can seem to reinvent itself. One region may produce animals with rich reds and oranges. Another may lean toward greens, blues, or bright turquoise tones. These local looks are not random decoration. They are tied to geography and ancestry, shaped by populations that stayed fairly separated over long periods. For people, it is like meeting multiple versions of the same animal, each wearing a different signature palette. That diversity also affects how humans talk about them, since keepers and researchers often refer to local forms by place names. It turns the island into a living gallery where evolution curates the exhibits. The deeper wonder is that these colors exist in a wild setting, not in a laboratory. They are part of real lives that include predators, rivals, mates, and shifting seasons. In the forest, those colors can be communication, identity, and history all at once. The smallest known chameleons fit easily on a fingertip. Some chameleons shrink the idea of a dragon down to a scale that feels impossible. A tiny body means a tiny world. A single leaf can be shelter, a hunting ground, and a boundary line. In that miniature life, dangers multiply. A raindrop can hit like a heavy object, and a gust of wind can be a serious event. Yet these little chameleons still carry the essential tools of their family, including gripping feet and a careful, watchful way of moving. Their small size also means they can use hiding places that larger predators cannot reach, such as narrow crevices and deep leaf litter. Scientists have paid close attention to these species because the extremes of size raise fascinating questions. How small can a complex vertebrate become while still functioning well? How does it hunt, reproduce, and survive? The answers are part of what makes chameleons feel like nature's most inventive sculptors. The Brookesia group includes many of the tiniest species. Brookesia chameleons are famous for living close to the ground, often in leaf litter where the forest floor becomes a maze of shadows. Many are small enough to disappear beside a curled brown leaf. Their camouflage is often about texture and tone rather than bright display, because the audience down there is different. Ground predators search by pattern, and a chameleon that looks like debris can slip past notice. This group has also become a symbol of how much biodiversity can hide in plain sight. Researchers have found new species in limited areas, sometimes within habitat that seems ordinary at first glance. That discovery process is exciting and sobering at the same time, because it means a small patch of forest can hold animals found nowhere else. Brookesia chameleons show that chameleon life is not only about tree branches and bright colors. It can also be quiet, cryptic, and astonishingly small, with survival shaped by the floor of the forest. Some dwarf chameleons spend most of life on the forest floor. Life on the ground changes everything. Instead of moving along branches, these chameleons navigate fallen leaves, twigs, and low plants. The light is dimmer. The air can be cooler, and predators can approach from every direction. A ground-dwelling chameleon often relies on stillness and careful positioning because the forest floor is full of eyes. Birds hop through the litter. Small mammals nose around. Other reptiles prowl at the edges of cover. Yet the leaf litter also offers an advantage. It is complex and cluttered, which creates countless hiding places. A dwarf chameleon can tuck itself into the shapes and colors of debris, and even a close observer might miss it. At night, many climb a short distance to sleep on low stems, which can reduce surprise attacks from some ground hunters. Their world is more intimate than a treetop hunter's world, and it is full of quiet drama. Every step is a decision made in a crowded maze. Leaf litter species often rely on browns and mottled patterns. In the leaf litter, a bright display can be a liability. What works better is resemblance. Browns, tans, and soft grays match dead leaves, bark fragments, and soil. Mottling breaks up the outline, so the body does not read as a single clear shape. This is the camouflage style of a forest floor specialist. It is not about becoming invisible in open air. It is about looking ordinary in a place that is already chaotic. Some species even have small skin textures that mimic the uneven surface of decomposing leaves. The effect is so convincing that a person can look directly at one and still fail to notice it. That kind of disguise is more than beauty. It is a survival strategy against predators that hunt by pattern recognition. It also supports a particular hunting method, because prey insects in leaf litter can be wary and quick. When the chameleon looks like background, it can get closer without triggering alarm. In that shadowy world, brown can be the most powerful color of all. Arboreal species have stronger gripping feet for branches. Tree living demands a grip you can trust, because the penalty for slipping is high. Arboreal chameleons often have feet and leg muscles that handle long hours of holding and slow, careful climbing. Branches can be narrow, smooth, wet, or covered in flaky bark, and the animal has to manage all of it without rushing. Strong grip also supports hunting. A stable stance helps the body remain steady while the eyes assess distance and the tongue prepares to launch. If the platform shakes, accuracy suffers. Grip becomes precision. It is also a safety feature during wind. When a branch moves, the chameleon needs to ride that motion without being thrown. Strong feet, careful stepping, and a balanced posture work together like climbing equipment. There is a reason these animals often look like they're gripping with intention, as if they know exactly where each toe belongs. In trees, that confidence is earned through anatomy. It allows a slow hunter to live in a fast-moving canopy, where every branch is both path and risk. Branch-living chameleons often have longer tails for balance. A longer tail changes how the body handles space. On a thin branch, the tail can shift weight backward, forward, or sideways, which helps the chameleon stay centered as it climbs. It can also wrap around supports, creating a second anchor point that turns a risky reach into a controlled maneuver. Longer tails are especially useful when the animal has to extend toward prey without stepping closer. The body can lean, the front feet can hold, and the tail can counterbalance the stretch. In a three-dimensional habitat, that is like adding a movable stabilizer. It does not need to be fast to be effective. It needs to be reliable. Longer tails can also help the animal rest securely, since holding a position for long periods is part of chameleon life. The fascination is how a tail becomes more than a tail. It becomes a tool that turns branches into walkways. It is one more way the body is tuned for canopy living, where balance is as important as strength. Many species are most active in daylight, making them diurnal. Daylight suits an animal that relies on vision for almost everything it does. With the sun up, a chameleon can spot motion, judge distances, and choose the best perches for both warmth and safety. Diurnal life also shapes social encounters. Displays and color signals are most effective when they can be clearly seen, so daytime activity supports communication as well as hunting. There is also an energy logic. Many insects are active during the day, especially those that fly or crawl on sunlit leaves, which brings prey into view. Temperature plays a role too, because daytime warmth helps muscles and digestion work efficiently. The daily routine can become a careful sequence. First, the animal warms itself. Then it begins to hunt and move through its territory. Later, it may seek shade to avoid overheating. As evening approaches, it searches for a safe sleeping branch. That rhythm ties the chameleon's life to the arc of the sun, turning each day into a timed pattern of light, heat, and opportunity. At night, many turn pale while sleeping on thin branches. When darkness falls, many chameleons choose sleep perches that look fragile, such as narrow twigs near the ends of branches. As they settle, their colors often fade into paler tones. That shift is linked to sleep state and body temperature changes, and it can make them look almost ghostly in torchlight. The pale color may also help reduce visibility to certain night hunters, especially in moonlit canopy where darker outlines can stand out. The thin branch choice is not comfort. It is strategy. A light sleeper on a thin twig can feel vibrations early, and heavier predators may struggle to approach without shaking the perch. For someone watching in the wild, this behavior can be one of the most memorable sights. A chameleon that was bright and expressive during the day becomes quiet and pale at night, like a different creature entirely. It is a reminder that these animals have two lives, one in sunlight and one in darkness, with sleep itself woven into their defenses. Sleeping on thin twigs can reduce attacks from heavy predators. A thin twig acts like an alarm system. If something larger tries to crawl out toward the sleeping chameleon, the twig bends and trembles, sending vibrations through the feet before the predator gets close. That early warning can be enough. The chameleon may wake and drop into denser cover, or it may reposition to a safer spot. A heavier predator also has a practical problem. Thin twigs do not offer good support, so the attacker risks falling or making too much noise. This makes the approach less appealing than attacking prey that sleeps on sturdier branches. There is also a spacing advantage. The ends of branches can be farther from the trunk, which is a main highway for climbing predators like snakes. The behavior is not foolproof, and danger still exists, but it shifts the odds. It is a clever choice for an animal that does not have speed as its main defense. The surprising part is how consistent the strategy can be. Night after night, a chameleon may choose the same kind of perch as if it is selecting a bed with built-in security features. Chameleons are found naturally in Africa, Madagascar, and parts of Asia. Their natural range tells a story of warm climates, varied habitats, and long evolutionary history. Across Africa, chameleons occupy forests, savannas, and mountain regions, often with species specialized for very specific conditions. Madagascar adds an entire world of unique forms, many found nowhere else. Parts of Asia host their own native species, which shows that the family is not limited to a single continent story. This distribution matters because it shapes the diversity we see today. Different regions offered different challenges, and those challenges shaped different solutions in body size, coloration, and behavior. It also means the word chameleon does not refer to one lifestyle. It refers to a whole collection of lifestyles, spread across distant landscapes. When people imagine chameleons, they often picture a single species in a pet shop. In reality, the group covers a wide map, with creatures adapted to deserts, rainforests, and cool highlands. Their geography is part of their wonder, because it shows how one evolutionary theme can be expressed in many places, in many ways. A few species live in southern Europe as native reptiles. It surprises many people to learn that Europe has native chameleons at all. In parts of southern Europe, one species has long lived in warm coastal habitats where conditions suit its needs. This places chameleons in landscapes that many people associate with olive trees, stone walls, and Mediterranean sunlight rather than tropical forests. It also highlights how climate creates pockets of possibility. A reptile that depends on warmth and daylight can persist where winters are mild enough and where vegetation provides shelter. These European populations have their own conservation concerns because coastal development and habitat changes can shrink the spaces they rely on. Seeing a chameleon in Europe also changes your sense of what belongs where. It reminds you that nature does not always match the stereotypes in our heads. Chameleons are not only rainforest curiosities. They can be part of familiar human landscapes, living quietly in places that tourists walk past without noticing. That hidden presence is part of their magic, and it makes their range feel broader than most people expect. Chameleons reached new regions by dispersing over long timescales. Their spread did not require sudden dramatic jumps. Over long periods, changing climates, shifting habitats, and geological events can open routes that were once impossible. Forest corridors expand, deserts contract, and mountains create new microclimates. In that slow dance, populations can move, separate, and settle. Over generations, those movements can create new species and new distributions. The chameleon's style of life supports this kind of gradual dispersal. Many live in limited ranges, but over long time scales, even small expansions can matter. A few kilometers in one direction, repeated over many generations, can eventually redraw a map. This kind of dispersal is easy to underestimate because it happens on scales humans do not feel. Yet it shapes everything about biodiversity. It is how lineages end up in surprising places and how distant populations become distinct. The fascinating part is that the modern distribution we see today is the result of countless small steps taken by small animals across deep time. Every branch climbed and every valley crossed contributed to a larger story that still unfolds in the present. Fossils show the group is ancient, with deep evolutionary roots. Fossils are rare gifts for animals that often live in forests, because forest soils do not always preserve bones well. Still, the fossil record and related evidence show that chameleons are not a recent invention. They are part of an old lineage that has had time to diversify and refine its tools. That long history helps explain why their bodies can seem so specialized, because specialization often builds through many small changes across many generations. Ancient roots also mean that chameleons persisted through major environmental shifts. Climates changed, landscapes rearranged, and ecosystems transformed. The lineage endured. When you hold that idea in mind, a chameleon becomes more than a curious lizard on a branch. It becomes a survivor of deep time. Its features are not novelty for our entertainment. They are solutions that worked well enough for millions of years. That perspective can change how you listen to their story. You are not hearing about a trick or a gimmick. You are hearing about a successful strategy that nature kept refining long before humans ever noticed it. Their skulls are highly modified for powerful tongue mechanics. A chameleon's head is not shaped only for looks. It is shaped to support a complex launching system. Bones, joints, and muscle attachments are arranged to stabilize the tongue apparatus and guide its motion. The strike needs a stable platform because the tongue launches with force and then retracts quickly. If the head were too flexible or poorly supported, that motion could reduce accuracy or cause strain. The skull also houses the structures that anchor the hyoid and related elements, which play key roles in tongue extension. This means the head is part of the weapon. The jawline and the shape of the snout influence how the tongue sits at rest and how it travels outward. Over evolutionary time, small changes in bone shape could translate into better reach, better control, or more reliable feeding. That is why chameleon skulls can look so distinctive across species. Each shape represents a different engineering compromise, balancing strength, weight, and function. When you see the head, you are seeing the architecture of a hunting strategy, built into bone. The hyoid bones help anchor the tongue launching system. Hidden inside the throat region is a set of bones that most people never think about. In chameleons, the hyoid apparatus plays a central role in supporting the tongue mechanism. It provides stable anchoring points and helps guide the structures that extend and retract during a strike. This anchoring matters because the tongue is not just flung outward. It must be controlled, aimed, and then returned rapidly with prey attached. A good anchor makes the whole system more efficient and less prone to injury. The hyoid is also a reminder that spectacular features often depend on quiet internal scaffolding. The visible drama is the tongue shooting out. The invisible drama is the framework that makes it repeatable, meal after meal. If the internal support were weak, the system would fail, and the animal would starve. So evolution invested in sturdy design where we cannot see it, which is often where the most important work is done. It is like a hidden winch system inside a crane. You notice the movement. You forget the machinery. In chameleons, that machinery includes the hyoid, working in the background of every successful hunt. Chameleons breathe with lungs that can help inflate the body. Breathing is not only about oxygen. In chameleons, lung inflation can change posture, appearance, and even stability. When the animal draws in air and expands its torso, it can look larger, which can discourage threats. That inflated state can also stiffen the body, helping it hold a defensive stance without wobbling on a branch. Lungs can function like internal support, shaping how the rib cage carries weight and maintains position. This can be useful during displays where stillness and confidence matter. It can also be useful during moments of stress, when a bigger outline might buy time. The link between breathing and behavior makes them feel expressive in a different way. A slow exhale can calm the body. A sharp inflation can turn a quiet lizard into a bold presence. It also connects to their ecology, because lung capacity and breathing patterns interact with heat and activity. In a warm hour, breathing can support active hunting. In a cool hour, it can help conserve energy. The lungs are not just a background system. They are part of the visible language of the animal, shaping how it meets the world. Some species can change color quickly in seconds. A fast color change can feel like a sudden emotional reveal. One moment, the animal looks calm. Then, almost immediately, the skin shifts into a different message. Quick changes are useful during sudden encounters, like a rival appearing around a branch or a potential mate entering view. The speed allows the chameleon to respond to the situation without needing to move much, which helps it stay safe. It also means the display can escalate or de-escalate in real time. A warning can intensify if the other animal approaches, then soften if the threat retreats. That flexibility reduces the need for risky physical conflict. Fast changes can also happen with sudden stress, which is why a frightened chameleon may flash darker tones or sharp contrasts. The remarkable part is that these shifts are controlled, not random. The body is making adjustments through specialized skin cells and signaling pathways, translating internal state into visible color in a handful of heartbeats. It is like watching a living mood ring, except the meaning matters for survival. In the canopy, where seconds can decide everything, being able to rewrite your appearance quickly can be as important as being able to run. Other color shifts happen slowly as mood and temperature change. Not every change is dramatic. Some are gradual, like a sunrise moving across the body. As the animal warms, colors may deepen or lighten over minutes rather than seconds. As stress fades, patterns can soften. This slower shifting can function as a longer-term adjustment, aligning appearance with comfort, energy level, and social readiness. It can also help with heat management, since darker tones can absorb more warmth, while lighter tones can reflect it. That means the skin is doing more than talking to other chameleons. It is also interacting with sunlight and shade. Slow change can be a kind of baseline setting, while rapid change is the emergency signal. Together, they create a full spectrum of control. There is something compelling about that, because it makes the chameleon feel responsive in a layered way. It does not simply flip colors for show. It uses color as a continuous tool, adjusting to the world it is living in, minute by minute. If you watch long enough, you can see the body settle into a new state, as if it is finding the right setting for the hour. Darker colors can help absorb heat during cool mornings. On a chilly morning, warmth can be the difference between moving well and barely moving at all. By shifting toward darker tones, a chameleon can take in more sunlight and raise its body temperature sooner. That early boost matters because it unlocks the day's abilities: steady climbing, accurate aim, and digestion that actually works. You can imagine a lizard perched where the first light lands, turning slightly like a small solar collector, then slowly coming to life. The change is not just cosmetic. It is a practical response to physics. Dark surfaces absorb more radiant energy, and the chameleon can use that to shorten the slow, vulnerable hours after dawn. Once warmed, it can slip back into leafy cover and hunt with confidence. It is a beautiful example of how color can be a tool for survival, not just a message to other chameleons. Lighter colors can reduce overheating under intense sun. Heat can rise quickly in open sunlight, especially on still days when air barely moves. A chameleon that becomes too warm risks sluggishness, stress, and real physiological trouble. By shifting into lighter shades, it can reflect more sunlight and slow the rate of heating. That buys time, and it gives the animal more control over its day. The behavior often pairs with smart positioning. It may choose a branch with dappled light, then adjust color as the sun angle changes. This makes the body feel like a living thermostat, balancing warmth for activity with cooling for safety. The result is a reptile that is not simply at the mercy of the weather. It is actively managing it. For a listener, it is a striking thought. The chameleon is not just changing color for drama. It is shaping its own thermal environment with skin and behavior working together, moment by moment, as the sun moves overhead. Stress can trigger stark patterns that warn competitors away. When a chameleon becomes stressed, the body can broadcast it instantly. Patterns may sharpen, contrasts can deepen, and the animal can look suddenly more intense than it did a heartbeat before. This can serve as a warning. A rival approaching too closely may see the signal and reconsider, because a stressed animal is often closer to defensive action. The display can also protect the chameleon's space by making it clear that the situation is escalating. What makes this fascinating is the honesty of it. Stress is an internal state, yet it can become visible on the skin like a flashing sign. That visibility can prevent contact, which is safer for both animals. It can also help settle conflicts quickly in habitats where injuries would be costly. In that sense, a stress pattern is not only a symptom. It is a tool, turning tension into information that others can read and respond to. Many species rely on camouflage by matching texture and pattern. Camouflage is not only about color. It is also about how the body's surface looks in the light. Many chameleons blend by echoing the textures around them: rough bark, lichen patches, leaf veins, or the broken shadows of understory plants. Pattern becomes disguise. A mottled body can vanish against a mottled branch, especially when the animal stays still and chooses the right angle. This is why their movement is often slow and deliberate. If you can avoid sudden motion, your camouflage has time to work. For predators that hunt by sight, the best trick is to remove the outline that says animal. In the forest, everything is irregular. Chameleons can take advantage of that chaos and become part of it. The remarkable part is the control. They are not passively colored like a painted object. They adjust and select positions that make their natural textures more effective, as if they're staging their own invisibility. Some chameleons have skin bumps that break up their outline. A smooth body creates a clean silhouette, and silhouettes are easy to spot. Small bumps and ridges can interrupt that shape, making the animal look less like a single object and more like part of the branch itself. In certain species, these textures mimic bark, thorny stems, or the roughness of leaf litter. The effect is subtle until you try to find one in the wild. Your eyes slide past it because the surface reads as plant matter rather than reptile. This is camouflage by confusion. It does not need perfect matching. It needs to disrupt recognition. The textures can also catch light in uneven ways, producing tiny shadows that further hide the body's true edges. That matters in habitats where predators scan quickly, looking for clean lines and familiar forms. A chameleon with a broken outline can win by milliseconds. It becomes a creature that hides in plain sight, not by disappearing, but by refusing to look like what it is. Their toes have rough pads that improve grip on bark. Bark is not always friendly. It can be flaky, dusty, wet, or polished smooth by weather. Rough toe pads add friction, which makes each step more secure and each pause less tiring. When a chameleon grips a branch, it often holds that position for a long time while it watches. Better grip reduces strain and it lowers the risk of slipping during a crucial moment, like a tongue strike or a careful reach. The texture also helps when the animal climbs at an angle, because gravity is always trying to pull it down. In that situation, small improvements matter. A tiny increase in friction can mean the difference between steady control and a dangerous slide. This detail is easy to overlook because it is not flashy. Yet it supports everything else the chameleon does in trees. It is part of an entire body plan designed for careful, patient life above the ground, where stability is a form of safety. Tail muscles provide strong holding power for long periods. A chameleon's tail is not built for decoration. It is built to work. Strong muscles allow it to tighten around a branch and hold for long stretches without constant adjustment. That endurance matters because chameleons often rest, sleep, and hunt from the same general spot. When the tail anchors the body, the limbs can reposition with less risk. It is also a defense against surprise movement in the canopy, like wind or a branch that shifts underweight. A secure tail grip can keep the animal from being shaken loose at the worst moment. The tail can even act like a safety line during careful reaches. The front of the body extends while the tail keeps the rear stable. What makes this so compelling is the quiet strength. The chameleon does not need dramatic motions to show power. It shows power through staying. It can remain in control of its place in space, as if the tree and the animal have agreed on a firm handshake. Chameleons can lose their tail tip to escape predators. In a desperate moment, a chameleon may sacrifice a small part of itself to save the rest. If a predator catches the tail, the animal can sometimes shed the tip and break free. That loss can distract the attacker just long enough for escape, especially in dense vegetation, where a quick retreat behind leaves can end the chase. It is an extreme strategy because a tail is valuable for climbing and stability. Still, when the alternative is being eaten, the decision becomes clear. This is the logic of survival written into biology. Give up a piece to keep the whole. It also shows how dangerous the canopy can be. Even with camouflage and careful movement, attacks happen. The chameleon carries an emergency option for those moments when every other defense fails. For a listener, it is a striking contrast. The animal that seems so controlled and composed still lives with real risk, and it has built in ways to gamble for another day. Tail loss reduces climbing ability, so it is a last resort. A chameleon's tail is part of its balance system, and losing any portion of it can make life in the branches harder. Reaching becomes riskier. Crossing gaps can feel less secure. Even resting can require more caution, because one of the body's main anchors is diminished. That is why tail shedding is not a casual escape trick. It is a last resort, used when the danger is immediate and severe. Afterward, the chameleon must adapt, relying more heavily on limb grip and careful route choices. It may need safer perches and more conservative movement, which can affect hunting success. The cost is long-term, and the benefit is instant survival. This trade-off makes the behavior feel dramatic. It also highlights how specialized these animals are. In a branch-based life, every tool matters. Losing one changes the rules. So when a chameleon sheds tail tissue, it is making a hard choice under pressure, choosing life now, even if it means a more difficult life later. Many species lay eggs in soil hidden from predators. For egg-laying chameleons, the ground becomes a nursery that must be chosen with care. The female often searches for a place with the right texture, not too hard to dig, not too loose to collapse, and not too exposed to flooding. Once she commits, she excavates a chamber, deposits the eggs, and covers them again until the surface looks untouched. That concealment matters because eggs cannot run or hide. They rely on secrecy and location. Soil can also buffer temperature changes, protecting developing embryos from sudden swings. This is not a casual task. It can take significant energy, and it can leave the female vulnerable while she digs. Yet it is one of the most important jobs of her life. The next generation depends on a hidden pocket of earth that holds warmth, moisture, and time. For a listener, it is a powerful image. A creature of branches must descend and trust the ground, turning dirt into a cradle, then leaving without any guard at all. Females often dig carefully and cover nests to conceal them. The digging is not random scratching. It can be methodical, with pauses to test the soil and to shape a chamber that will not collapse. The female may choose a spot that feels safe from obvious disturbances, then work until the hole is deep enough to provide protection. After laying, she refills the tunnel and tamps the surface, sometimes adding leaves or debris that restore the natural look. The goal is simple: make the nest invisible. Predators that search for eggs often use sight and scent, and a disturbed patch of soil can act like an invitation. So the female becomes a careful builder and a careful disguise artist. What makes this especially compelling is the contrast with her usual life. Up in the vegetation, she relies on grip and patience. On the ground, she becomes an excavator, using strength and endurance for a task that may last hours. Then she leaves, and the nest must succeed on its own. It is a quiet act of planning that reshapes the future. Incubation can last months, depending on species and temperature. Once the eggs are buried, time takes over. Development can stretch across many weeks and sometimes longer, with temperature acting like a dial that speeds or slows the process. In warmer conditions, embryos may develop faster. In cooler conditions, everything can take more time. That means the nest is not just a place. It is a calendar. The soil's warmth, moisture, and stability shape when the young will emerge. In some habitats, timing is crucial. Hatching too early could mean scarce food. Hatching too late could mean harsh weather. The long incubation also increases risk. Flooding, drought, fungi, and predators can all intervene. Yet this slow approach can be surprisingly effective when the nest site is well chosen. It allows the young to arrive when conditions are better for survival. For a listener, it is a reminder that chameleon life includes long, invisible chapters. While adults hunt in daylight, the next generation may be developing in darkness under the earth, patiently assembling bodies that will one day climb into leaves. Some chameleons give birth to live young instead of eggs. Live birth changes the whole strategy. Instead of placing eggs in a nest and leaving, the female carries developing young inside her body until they are ready to enter the world. This can offer advantages in harsh or unpredictable climates because the mother can move to better conditions while the young develop. She can choose warmer sun, safer cover, or more stable humidity. The cost is weight and vulnerability. Carrying young can make movement harder, and it can raise energy demands. Yet the payoff is control. The offspring are born into the world immediately ready to move, and they do not depend on a hidden nest that could be discovered. This is one of those facts that makes chameleons feel endlessly adaptable. They are not locked into a single reproductive method. In different environments, different strategies can win. Live birth is a reminder that evolution is not only about flashy traits like color. It is also about life history, the deep choices that shape how a species survives across generations. Live birth is more common in cool mountain species. Cool environments pose a problem for eggs in the ground. Soil can be too cold for steady development, and temperature can swing sharply between day and night. Live birth offers a way around that. The mother can bask and regulate her own body temperature, and the developing young benefit from that stability. She becomes a moving incubator, able to seek the best microclimate available. This can be especially valuable in mountains where sunny perches may be limited and weather can change quickly. The strategy is not free. A pregnant female must find enough food to support herself and her developing young, and she may be less agile when escaping threats. Still, the pattern shows up again and again in reptiles. When climates get cooler, internal development becomes a useful solution. For listeners, it is a wonderful example of adaptation that feels almost counterintuitive. A chameleon, an animal we imagine as a warm forest specialist, can also be shaped by chilly air and high elevation, and it can respond with a completely different approach to bringing new life into the world. Hatchlings are independent immediately, with no parental care. When a chameleon hatchling enters the world, it does not receive lessons or protection from a parent. It must climb, hide, and feed from the very beginning. That independence is harsh, yet it fits the realities of chameleon life. Adults are solitary, and staying near young would draw attention and increase risk for everyone. So the young are built to function quickly. They begin hunting small prey, choosing perches, and avoiding danger with whatever instincts they carry. The first days can be the most perilous, because the world is full of predators that can swallow a tiny lizard easily. Yet there is also an advantage to independence. A hatchling can disperse and find its own space, reducing competition with siblings. It becomes a separate story immediately. For a listener, this is both sobering and impressive. The chameleon begins life without a safety net. It survives through built-in behavior, quick learning, and the same careful relationship with branches and light that adults rely on. Young chameleons can change color even early in life. A baby chameleon may be small, but it is not helpless in its toolkit. Even early on, it can adjust its coloration, which can help with concealment and with basic social signaling among nearby young. The colors are often less intense than an adult's, yet the ability is present, and it can develop as the animal grows. This is important because a hatchling's main priority is survival, and being noticed can be fatal. Color change can help it blend into the leaves it moves through, especially as it shifts between sun and shade. It can also help it respond to stress, since a sudden threat can change internal state quickly. What makes this fascinating is the idea of a complex system coming online so early. The skin, the nerves, and the behavior all begin working together, while the animal is still learning the geography of its first branches. In a way, the young chameleon is born already equipped for a world of signals, camouflage, and constant risk, and it starts practicing immediately. Growth can be rapid when food and warmth are plentiful. When conditions are right, a chameleon can turn meals and sunlight into size with surprising speed. Warmth supports metabolism, and plenty of prey provides the raw materials for building muscle, bone, and the intricate tissues that make their hunting system work. Rapid growth matters because small chameleons are vulnerable. The sooner they reach a sturdier size, the better their odds against predators and environmental stress. Growth also changes what they can do. Stronger grip, longer reach, and better endurance can open new parts of the habitat and new kinds of prey. In seasons of abundance, the body takes advantage, almost as if it is rushing to prepare for harder times. This is one reason habitat quality matters so much. A healthy environment does not only keep adults alive, it shapes how quickly young can develop into competent survivors. For a listener, it is an exciting reminder that growth is not only about age. It is about opportunity. Give a young chameleon warmth and food, and nature pushes the accelerator. Many species have short lifespans in the wild. Life in the wild is intense, and for many chameleons it can be brief. Predators are constant, and their bodies are specialized for a careful lifestyle rather than long-distance escape. Weather extremes, food shortages, injury, and disease can also shorten a life quickly. Some species live in habitats that change sharply with seasons, and their life cycles can be tuned to that rhythm, growing, breeding, and disappearing within a relatively short span. This does not mean their lives are simple. It means they are compressed. A lot must happen in a limited time, including finding territory, avoiding rivals and reproducing successfully. Short lifespans also shape behavior. There is less time for repeated chances, so timing and efficiency matter. For listeners, this can add a poignant layer. The chameleon's stillness can look peaceful, but it is also the stillness of an animal that must make every day count. In a world full of risk, a short life can still be a complete story, packed with strategy and precision. Some larger species can live several years with good conditions. Size can offer advantages. Larger chameleons may be harder for some predators to swallow, and they can store more reserves to survive brief shortages. With stable habitat, adequate food, and fewer disturbances, some can persist for years, returning to familiar perches and territories through multiple seasons. That longer life opens more opportunities for breeding and for learning the details of a home range. A seasoned adult may know the best basking spots as the sun changes across the year, and it may know where insects tend to appear after rain. Longevity also means more encounters, more rivalries, and more chances to refine behavior. In places where conditions remain favorable, a chameleon can become a steady presence in the vegetation, a quiet hunter that outlasts multiple cycles of growth in the plants around it. For listeners, it is a satisfying counterpoint to the idea of fragile, short-lived reptiles. Some chameleons can be enduring, not because they are invincible, but because the environment allows their careful strategy to keep working year after year. Parasites like mites and worms can seriously weaken individuals. A parasite does not need to kill quickly to be dangerous. Mites can irritate skin and cause chronic stress, while internal worms can drain nutrition and sap strength. For a chameleon, that weakness can ripple outward. A slower climb makes escapes less reliable. A reduced appetite can lead to weight loss. A weakened body can struggle to heal after minor injuries. Parasites can also affect hydration and energy, which are already delicate balances in many habitats. The problem is often invisible at first. An animal may still change color and still perch normally, while the burden grows inside or across the skin. In the wild, that hidden decline can be fatal because predators often pick off the weaker individuals. Parasites are part of the ecosystem, and they play roles in population dynamics. But for a single chameleon, they can be a quiet disaster. For listeners, it is a reminder that survival is not only about dramatic attacks. It is also about unseen pressures, small organisms that can change the outcome of a life without making a sound. Dehydration is a major risk because they rely on droplets. Water is not always waiting in a puddle for a chameleon. In many habitats, drinking depends on the brief moments when moisture gathers on leaves, then vanishes again into air and heat. If those moments fail, the body pays quickly. Eyes can look sunken, skin can lose its fullness, and energy can drop in a way that makes hunting harder. It becomes a feedback loop, because a weaker hunter catches less food, and many prey items also supply water. Heat makes the problem sharper. A hot day increases water loss, while also raising the need for careful cooling choices. This is why chameleons are so tuned to microclimates, shade, breeze, and the timing of morning moisture. Dehydration is not dramatic, like a predator attack. It is quieter. It is a slow subtraction that can turn a perfectly designed hunter into a struggling one. Habitat loss is a leading threat for many species. A chameleon may live in a world that fits inside a single stretch of vegetation. When their patch is cleared, there may not be another one nearby that matches the same humidity, plant structure, and prey. Forest edges dry out. Shade disappears. The branch networks that chameleons use like roads are broken into isolated fragments. Even when trees remain, the understory can be altered, and that changes insect life and hiding places. For species that already have small ranges, a road, a farm expansion, or a new development can remove a large portion of their entire home. This is especially severe for island and mountain species, where suitable habitat exists only in narrow bands. Habitat loss also makes populations smaller and more isolated, which can reduce resilience over time. The tragedy is that many chameleons are difficult to notice, so their disappearances can happen quietly. A forest can look green from far away, while the microhabitats that supported them are already gone. Illegal wildlife trade has harmed rare and colorful chameleons. Bright colors and unusual shapes can become a curse when humans decide an animal belongs in a box. Some chameleons are collected and sold illegally, especially those with striking patterns or those found in only one region. Removing a few individuals might sound minor, but for a small population, it can be devastating. The loss is not only numbers. It can remove breeding adults, disrupt local genetics, and push fragile populations closer to collapse. Transport is often brutal too. Stress, dehydration, and crowding can kill animals before they ever reach a buyer, which drives further collecting to replace losses. The trade can also encourage secrecy and poaching in protected habitats, making conservation work harder. What makes this especially painful is that chameleons already struggle with habitat change. Illegal trade adds a second pressure that targets the very individuals most likely to capture attention. Rarity becomes desirability, and desirability becomes danger. Many species are protected by international trade regulations. Because trade can empty habitats, many chameleons fall under international agreements that control how animals can be moved between countries. These rules aim to reduce overcollection and to ensure that any legal trade is monitored. Permits, inspections, and documentation are meant to track what is taken and to discourage smuggling. For conservation, the value is accountability. If a species is being exported in large numbers, authorities can notice and respond. The regulations also help protect species that are hard for the public to distinguish. When enforcement is strong, it reduces pressure on wild populations and makes it harder for rare species to be sold as if they were common. It also sends a clear message that these animals are not just products. They are living parts of ecosystems, and many of them cannot withstand heavy removal. The challenge is that regulations only work when they are respected and supported. Still, the existence of these protections shows that the world has recognized the risk and has tried to build a safety net across borders. Captive care requires precise lighting, heat, and hydration. Chameleons can survive in captivity, but they rarely thrive on guesswork. Their bodies are tuned to a narrow set of conditions, and small errors can build into big health problems. Lighting must match their daytime lifestyle, including the right intensity and timing. Heat needs gradients because they warm and cool by moving between microclimates. Hydration must mimic how they actually drink, since many respond best to droplets and moving moisture rather than still bowls. Airflow matters too, because stagnant, overly wet enclosures can invite respiratory trouble. Feeding is not only about quantity, it is about variety and nutrient balance, since wild diets are diverse and seasonal. Even stress management becomes part of care, because frequent handling and noisy environments can unsettle them. What makes this so important is that chameleons often hide illness until they are in serious trouble. So good care is not about reacting. It is about building a stable world where the animal's natural routines can happen every day, quietly and reliably. Ultraviolet lighting is vital for healthy calcium metabolism. For many reptiles, ultraviolet light is not a luxury. It is part of how the body manages calcium, which supports bones, muscles, and nerve function. Without adequate ultraviolet exposure, the body struggles to produce the vitamin that helps absorb calcium from food. That can lead to weakness that starts subtly, then becomes severe. The jaw may soften, limbs may bend. Grip can weaken, which is disastrous for an animal that lives on branches. Appetite can decline too, because the body is under strain. In the wild, sunlight supplies this invisible ingredient daily, and chameleons can choose where to sit to balance warmth with exposure. In captivity, the environment must provide a safe equivalent, or the animal's biology slowly falls out of sync. This is one of the clearest examples of how chameleons are built for a sunlit life. Light is not only something they see, it is something their bodies use, like a nutrient carried on waves. Without calcium balance, chameleons can develop severe bone disease. When calcium metabolism fails, the skeleton can become a weak framework that no longer supports normal life. This condition can cause bowed legs, fragile bones, and difficulty climbing. A chameleon may struggle to hold its own weight on a branch, and falls become more likely. The jaw can become soft, which can interfere with feeding, creating yet another downward spiral. The tragedy is that the disease can begin quietly. A slight tremor, a weaker grip, a slower climb. By the time obvious deformities appear, the body has already been under stress for a long time. In the wild, such weakness can be fatal because predators target the slow and the unstable. In captivity, it is preventable with proper ultraviolet exposure and nutrition, which makes it a powerful lesson in how specialized these animals are. Their bodies are not built to improvise around missing environmental needs. When the balance is wrong, the bones tell the story. They shed skin in pieces, often rubbing against branches. Shedding is not always a clean, single glove coming off. For many chameleons, old skin loosens and lifts in patches, and the animal helps the process along by rubbing against bark and twigs. This can look like careful grooming, with the body turning and pressing against rough surfaces to catch an edge of loose skin. The timing can be influenced by growth, health, and humidity, since dry conditions can make shed skin cling longer. During a shed, colors can look duller, and the animal may seem more irritable or private. Still, shedding is a normal part of maintenance. The skin is not just a covering. It is involved in sensation, protection, and communication, so keeping it in good condition matters. Watching a chameleon work off a stubborn patch is a reminder that even a creature built for stillness has moments of busy, practical effort. It is quiet self-care in the language of branches. Shedding helps remove parasites and supports growth. An old layer of skin can hold debris, microbes, and tiny hitchhikers that benefit from staying attached. When that layer comes off, the body gets a fresh surface, which can reduce irritation and improve comfort. Shedding also supports growth, because skin does not stretch forever without consequence. A growing chameleon needs a renewed outer layer that fits properly and functions well. After a successful shed, colors can look clearer and the body can seem more relaxed, as if the animal has finally stepped out of a tight coat. The process is not always easy, especially when humidity is off or when the animal is unwell. But the goal is the same. Replace the old barrier with a new one. That renewal matters for a life spent against rough bark and sharp leaves. It also matters for signaling, since skin quality influences how patterns and tones appear. In a way, shedding is housekeeping for one of the most important tools a chameleon has. The skin is both shield and message board, and shedding keeps it working. Their tongues can strike with accelerations that exceed many vertebrates. The strike is so fast that it can feel like the tongue appears and disappears, leaving only the result. What makes it astonishing is not only speed, but the rate of change. how quickly the tongue goes from stillness to full motion. The chameleon is storing energy, then releasing it in a burst that can outpace the prey's ability to react. Insects often rely on quick jumps or sudden flight. The tongue system is built to beat those reflexes. It is also built to be repeatable, because a hunter that must wait between attempts would lose too many chances. The tongue's structure allows rapid projection and rapid retraction, with control that keeps the strike accurate. In the animal kingdom, there are many impressive movements, but this one feels like a physics demonstration performed by a lizard. The quiet part is the setup, the still eyes and steady body. The loud part is invisible because it happens too fast for the mind to follow. That contrast makes the tongue strike one of the most thrilling feats in chameleon biology. Chameleons can focus each eye at different distances simultaneously. Imagine looking near and far at the same time, without shifting your head. Chameleons can do something close to that. One eye can watch the distant scene for motion and threats, while the other inspects closer detail. This matters in a layered habitat where danger can arrive from above, while prey creeps nearby on the branch network. The ability also supports their scanning style. They do not need to commit both eyes to the same depth all the time, so they can keep gathering information from multiple ranges. Then, when something becomes important, the eyes can adjust their focus as attention narrows. This is not just about sharpness. It is about flexibility. In the forest, distance is not a single value. It changes constantly as leaves sway and bodies move. A chameleon's visual system is built for that complexity, letting it keep more of the world in usable detail. For a listener, it is an invitation to imagine a richer kind of seeing, where one mind holds two different focus points at once. Their brain integrates two separate views into one hunting solution. Independent eyes create a puzzle. If each eye is gathering its own stream of information, the brain must decide what matters and when to combine the streams. During scanning, the eyes can operate like two separate searchlights, maximizing coverage. During a strike, the brain must unify the picture into a single plan, choosing one target and building a reliable trajectory. That integration is not trivial in a cluttered habitat full of moving leaves, shifting shadows, and multiple insects. Yet chameleons do it smoothly. The transition from roaming gaze to coordinated aim can look almost ceremonial, as if the animal has moved from curiosity into certainty. This ability suggests a nervous system that is highly tuned to decision-making, even in a creature that seems simple at first glance. It is a reminder that intelligence is not only about solving human puzzles. It is also about solving the daily puzzle of survival, which can be harder. In the chameleon's case, that puzzle is visual complexity. The brain takes two views and turns them into one precise action. Some species show bright stripes that function as threat warnings. Stripes can act like a bold sign, designed to be read quickly. In some chameleons, bright striping appears during confrontation, turning the body into a clear signal that says, "Do not come closer." The power of a stripe is its simplicity. Even in broken forest light, a strong line across the body stands out. It can also make the animal look larger by emphasizing length and shape. That matters in disputes where both animals are judging whether a fight is worth the risk. A clear warning can prevent contact, which protects the fragile body from bites and falls. It can also deter predators by making the chameleon look more confident and less manageable. The stripes are not random decoration. They are part of a language that includes posture, stillness, and controlled movement. For a listener, it is fascinating to realize that a pattern we might call beautiful can be something closer to a warning label. In the trees, Visibility can be defensive, not reckless. Color changes can reveal social rank during group encounters. Chameleons are often solitary, yet they still encounter each other at shared resources, like good basking branches, dense hunting spots, or breeding areas. In those brief gatherings, color can act like a quick ranking system. A dominant individual may display patterns that communicate confidence and ownership, while a subordinate may shift into tones that reduce conflict. This can prevent needless fighting because both animals get a sense of the likely outcome before contact. Rank signals can also help an individual keep access to the best microhabitats, which influences feeding success and body condition. The remarkable part is the speed. A hierarchy can be expressed and understood in moments, then the animals separate again. It is social structure without social living. For listeners, it is a reminder that even solitary animals have politics. They just keep it short. When two chameleons meet, their skin can carry the conversation, settling who holds the branch, who yields, and how both can walk away uninjured. Their hearing is limited, but they sense vibrations well. Chameleons are not built for a world of calls and songs. Their ears do not specialize in picking up distant airborne sounds the way many birds do. Instead, they are better tuned to physical information moving through the environment. Vibrations can travel along branches, stems, and even the ground, carrying hints that something heavy is approaching. A predator climbing, a rival moving nearby, or a sudden shift in the plant can all send tremors that the body can detect through feet and posture. This makes sense for a branch-based life. In the canopy, the surface you stand on can act like an early warning system. A chameleon that notices vibrations early can freeze, reposition, or retreat before the threat arrives in view. It is a different kind of listening. Not through the air, but through touch and transmission. For listeners, it is a great reminder that senses are not a standard set. Nature tunes them to the medium that matters most. For chameleons, the medium is the branch beneath them. Many species are sensitive to handling and easily stressed. The chameleon can look calm in a person's hand, yet inside it may be running an alarm response. Handling removes control. It changes temperature, disrupts balance, and brings a large animal close to the body in a way that can resemble predation. Stress can lead to defensive displays, darker patterns, and long periods of withdrawal afterward. It can also interfere with feeding, because a stressed chameleon may refuse prey even when it needs energy. This sensitivity is not stubbornness. It is adaptation. In the wild, being grabbed usually means danger, so the nervous system treats it seriously. Their lifestyle also favors stability, familiar perches, predictable heat gradients, and control over distance. Frequent handling breaks all of that at once. For listeners, it is a useful lesson in empathy for animals that are often treated like living decorations. Chameleons are not toys. They are specialized, cautious creatures that do best when they can choose their own space and their own pace, without forced contact. Stress can suppress appetite and weaken immune defenses. When stress becomes chronic, it can change what the body prioritizes. Resources shift toward immediate survival responses, and other systems receive less support. Appetite can drop, which is dangerous for an animal that already depends on successful hunting for both energy and hydration. Over time, weight loss can follow, and weakness can become visible in grip and posture. Immune defenses can also suffer. The body becomes less able to fight infections, and small problems can grow into major ones. This matters in both wild and captive settings, because stress can come from many sources: predator pressure, habitat disturbance, poor environmental conditions, or constant human interference. The most troubling part is that the decline can be gradual. and chameleons often hide vulnerability until they are in real trouble. That hidden nature is itself a survival strategy, yet it can make stress harder to notice early. For listeners, the lesson is that stress is not only a feeling, it is biology. In a chameleon, prolonged stress can change the outcome of the life. Chameleons help ecosystems by controlling insect populations naturally. A chameleon is a hunter, but it is also an ecological worker. By eating insects, it can help shape the balance of small animals that affect plants, pollination, and even disease dynamics in some regions. In a forest, insect populations rise and fall, and predators like chameleons act as steady pressure that prevents any one group from exploding unchecked. This matters because insects can be both helpers and pests. Some pollinate and recycle nutrients. Others can defoliate plants or spread pathogens. A chameleon does not manage that consciously, yet its daily meals add up into an ecological role. It is also part of the food web itself. Predators that eat chameleons depend on them as prey, so the chameleon sits in the middle, turning insects into energy that higher predators can use. For listeners, it is satisfying to see the animal not only as a marvel of anatomy, but as a functional piece of living systems. It is a reminder that beauty in nature is often practical. A hunter on a branch can influence an entire community of organisms simply by doing what it evolved to do. Some species are so localized that one fire can end them. When a species exists only in a small region, a single disaster can be catastrophic. A wildfire, a severe storm, or a human-caused burn can erase habitat faster than a population can recover. Unlike wide-ranging animals, a localized chameleon cannot simply move to the next forest over if the next forest does not exist, or if it lacks the right conditions. This is especially true for species tied to specific microhabitats, like certain elevation bands or unique plant communities. After a fire, the structure of the habitat changes. Shade disappears. Humidity drops. The insect community shifts. Even if some individuals survive, the environment may no longer support them. This is why conservation for chameleons can be so place-specific. Protecting one hillside can matter more than protecting a large, distant reserve. For listeners, this is a sobering form of wonder. The rarity that makes a species special also makes it vulnerable. A chameleon can be an entire evolutionary story written into a small patch of forest, and that story can end quickly when disaster strikes. New chameleon species are still being discovered in remote forests. It is astonishing that in a world of satellites and global maps, new chameleon species can still step into science as fresh discoveries. Remote forests, isolated mountains, and understudied regions can hide small populations that look similar to known species until careful study reveals clear differences. Sometimes the species are tiny and cryptic, living in leaf litter or dense understory where few people search. Sometimes they're in habitats that are hard to reach or politically difficult to survey. Discovery can involve detailed anatomy, genetic analysis, and patient fieldwork that returns to the same region across seasons. Each new species adds more than a name. It adds a new branch to the story of how chameleons evolved, dispersed, and adapted. It can also trigger conservation urgency, because a newly described species often has a limited range and immediate threats. For listeners, this is one of the most thrilling ideas of all. Nature is not fully catalogued. There are still hidden lives in the world, waiting in quiet places, and chameleons are among the creatures that keep surprising us. As our journey with chameleons comes to a close, you can let the last bright detail settle softly in your mind. We wandered through a world where color is conversation, where a mood can ripple across skin, and where heat and light shape the rhythm of the day. We met eyes that can scan in two directions, then unite in a single moment of focus. We followed a tongue that launches like a spring, then returns with perfect certainty. We noticed feet that grip like living tongs, tails that anchor like a safety line, and sleeping choices that turn thin twigs into nighttime protection. We glimpsed forests and deserts, mountains and islands, and the fragile truth that some species belong to only one small place on Earth. Now you do not need to hold every detail. You can simply keep the feeling of it. A patient creature on a branch, a slow sway with the wind. A quiet life shaped by sunlight, droplets, and timing. If you enjoyed this Sleepy Science visit, you can support the channel with a like, a subscription, or a calm comment. It helps this little corner of curiosity reach more listeners who need a peaceful place to land. And if you are still awake, there is another video waiting for you on screen. You can drift into the next journey and let a new world open at an unhurried pace. For now, let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your breathing find an easy rhythm. With each exhale, allow the day to loosen its grip. You have done enough. You are safe here, in the dark and the quiet, with nothing left to solve. Sleep well, and good night.